All right, so welcome back. Obviously, this class is not going to be as good as Sunday's night's class or last Sunday's class because see, it was hard to toss something like that. So hopefully, you guys are listening to that. Um, so today I'm just going to be going over kind of how I find like not entries, but how to find a bias, and you're going to notice some things that I do differently than probably a lot of you. So um, I do that. A couple people were saying they couldn't buy the Apex account because it was saying code exceeded. I think some like scammer or something just he must have used it a bunch and refunded or something. I don't even know what happened, but it should work now. I got that all fixed. So I can buy an Apex account. Code Dodgy works again. It's 80% off right now until I think the 13th. So I literally just bought a few more. I'm not buying, so I want to buy 20. I'm waiting for a 90% off sale though, which is not going to be for a while. So but yeah, go use the code. Um, A1. It's not an ad. I'm just saying. I got a shit ton of DMs the other day. Code wasn't working. I mean, the drawdown rules for Apex. It's not like TFT. All right. All right. So we're gonna get started. Um, just gonna get started. So I'm literally just gonna set it on the 4-hour time frame. Actually, I will keep the one open because I'll show you guys why in a minute. So this is what the kind of the daily looks like at the moment. Um, the first thing I'm marking right here is what is the obvious gap. So if I start in the 4-hour, you can see there's a lot of fair value gaps here. I'm already leaning bearish here because we've already kind of violated this. So I'm already kind of leaning bearish here, but I'm gonna kind of go over, okay, what is my actual thought process for why am I bearish here? Um, so I see a few different things. Right now on the 4-hour, a lot of gaps, a lot of variables. All right. So that doesn't really help me much. Now, if I go to the daily, same thing. A lot of gaps here, a lot of gaps here. I mean, there's too many. Weekly, no gaps. So the weekly gap is right here. This is really um one that I'd be really paying attention to there. But it's kind of too far. It's too far below, so I don't really need to know about the weekly. So I'm just gonna start off with a 4-hour, and I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm bearish here because a lot of buy side swept here, and you can tell because if I was a retail trader, I mean, most of or all of you would you would think this is a supply zone, whatever. So he kind of broke this, and I don't really say this a lot, but this is a little gem. Take this. Whenever we get a liquidity sweep with a bullish fair value gap, um, whenever we get a liquidity sweep with a bullish fair value gap, it's actually a better liquidity sweep than if we were to get it with no fair value gap. It's kind of a weird thing, but um, whenever we get a bullish fair value gap sweeping liquidity, it's actually better because it creates more liquidity because all these people are long in this, so it creates a lot more liquidity because they'll get wrecked and then create more side. So, you guys can hear me. Make sure to check your output. And just, and again, I don't even know if I'm right or wrong. I'll have to play this out, and we'll see if I'm right. I'm sure I'll be wrong a few times in this, but and yeah, I'm not making that money. Lavrich, that's for Leopard and Mark. I don't. It's this thing. All right, so let's see if I'm right. So ideally, right here, I'd go to lower time frame when the session opens, and I'd convert shorts only because one, we swept a lot of buy side here, a lot of equal highs. Um, I mean, we don't see when I see this candle here. You guys got to realize this candle is at 2 a.m. and I don't touch London, so I would have been bullish here because I would be like, oh, it looks like we're gonna be in a buy model, so I would have been bullish there. However, when I wake up right here, I just it's very hard when I'm first looking at the chart from here. Right, the market fed me enough data here to where okay, I can't be bullish here. Like why? How is someone gonna be bullish here? You just can't. I don't understand why someone can be bullish here. I just can't. Okay, factually speaking. So as I was bullish before, the market constantly fed me new data here, and now that new data to me is just it's definitely bearish because one, we violated two fair value gaps that are very important, and two, I mean, we swept all these highs. So I mean, it's just this to me is bearish. So let's see if I'm right here. Again, I don't. I'm probably gonna be wrong a few times, but let's see. Okay. So what happened here was if I were to go to the lower time frame at 3 a.m. Here's London with my bearish bias. We would have gotten a really nice short setup. So you can see right here we have a really nice inversion, and it dumps how many points is it? Dumps about 50 points. So it would have played out really nicely. And that's that. And you can see before we also dumped another and 50 points there. Um, so now that we've kind of reclaimed this 4 hour, okay, I would be bullish on the lower time frame here. And just because I'm bullish or bearish does not mean I take a doesn't actually mean I take a setup. So right here we're really too high, so I probably went long. But the this data right here, the fact that we kind of inverse this tells me okay, we're gonna go this high. Okay. Again, and I'm not long in the lower time frame, so you're not gonna see me take a long there. I might be bullish there, but I'm not gonna take a long there. So you can see it's just dumped. Let's go back up here. All right. That's why I don't take a long there. A lot of you are like, oh, why wouldn't you take a long? Okay, we're just too high. I'm not even if it works, it doesn't work. It's not a high win rate. I'm only strictly using bias. I would never enter. So let's see what happens. So right here, I kind of had a bullish bias because we close above, and the target would be this next high, and this is at 6 a.m. So two things about this: I'm not awake, and if I was awake, do you see a long setup here? Is there any long setup here? Based off, yeah, there's not even a long setup here to long if I wanted to. We just completely violate this. This is a short setup, so it just would have been impossible to long here anyways. So you can see even though like the 4 hour, okay, this does look bullish, you can't long there. I mean, you just can't. Okay, there's nothing that tell you to go long there. And we just dump and we dump and we dump and there's not really good opportunity. And by the time we get back down here, the market's fed me so much new information that's like, yeah, I'm not bullish anymore. Like it's feeding me new data. It's like, yeah, you can't be bullish. And I wake up around 8 o'clock, so you would see I would have woken up around this time right here. And at this time, I'm like, kind of failed to hit the high. I'll just kind of play what I see. And people who watch my live streams every day, they know this. In a situation like this, I would honestly just wait for open. So you can see 8:30. See what open gets. Here's open. So here's open, and I probably would have waited for this to be inverse to be bullish, and it never was. So you can see on a day like that where I want to come in bullish, you just can't be bullish. And I always do these like feedback forums after my streams, and people's like, "Stop switching your bias." Right? I can't be bullish here. There's a difference between the higher time frame looks bullish between the lower time frame's not even giving us a long setup. You can see we don't even inverse this gap. I mean, even though the higher time frame did look bullish here, there's not really a long setup, and that's like the main issue people have. They're like, "Oh, you're bullish." Well, I can't be bullish if this is an inverse. The lower time frame is just as important as what the higher time frame is telling us because if the lower time frame doesn't give us an entry, how are you going to enter? I mean, there's just no possible way. Um, and you can see the rest of the day. I would have waited for this inverse as well. It never did. And I mean, other than that, that's really the only clean inverse I saw. I mean, this one, and neither of them inverse. So again, even though I would have had a bullish bias there, am I losing? No, because there's not really long entry. The first long entry you're trying to kind of gives us is right here. So I mean, I would have probably scalped that, but other than that, I mean, there's nothing really textbook long. So because of this displacement, I am going to be bearish now because the market just fed me new data to where, okay, we failed to hit the swing high, we kind of reinverse this, and now we're really exploding below this. Okay, and if I go to the daily doesn't help much because we are inside this bullish for rally gap. But I mean, we're really high. I can't long in premium. Okay, if you guys don't know what premium discount is, just remember, I mean, we're really high in premium at this point. I mean, I would ideally be looking for some sort of retracement. So not really good for every I got too long. It's too high. So I would probably be looking for a reaction out of this the next day. So let me handle. And again, I'm not gonna mark out sell side here yet. We don't know if this 4-hour sell side is gonna hit until this is inverse. So let's see if it is. Okay, there it is. So now I have extra confirmation that okay, we should go to this low because we just violated the last kind of possible big fair value gap in the daily after sweeping some highs. So I'd go into the next session fully bearish to the sell side. Go to the next session here. Okay, so here's the next session. Now, all I'd be looking for here now is some sort of pump, and then again, something to inverse. Again, I'm not going to look for an entry this stream, but I'd literally be looking for a bullish move because again, I'm looking for sell side, but I want an entry, so I wouldn't short this for value gap because again, it's just not smart to. Okay, so there's our bullish move we want. So this is actually a good sign. And now I would just be looking for something super bearish. Okay, so if we violate this 5-minute fair value gap, I don't mind. Okay, so like right here. So now I would probably take a short entry or something. I mean, I don't know if I would in live time or not because I don't know what the news is on these days. Like we could have Powell speak for all I know. I have no idea. So I'd probably look for a short here just because again, if sell side down here, daily is violated, and I mean, yeah. So let's see if it works. So it worked nicely there. You can see if you enter on this candle close, so you would have gotten your first take profit there. And I mean, it looks like it would have been, but again, I'm just really targeting this black line here. So let's see if it gives us another entry here. This is actually a good sign. So this play worked. Again, wow, that's a lot. We went against 70 points out of that. That's crazy. And I'm still looking for an obvious inverse here. So now, I mean, how do you know when we're going to go to the sell side in the lower time frame here? The 1 minute, here's the thing. So the 1 minute's not really going to tell you much at this time. I would probably be on the 15-minute, looking for a 15-minute bullish for value gap. The 1 minute's not going to really help me for the daily chart. I think it's going to be the 15-minute. So I'm going to kind of see if we get a 15-minute bullish for value gap and violate it. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go to next session. Okay, so I mean, this wouldn't be terrible right here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that's right there. You guys see that? Let's see if it hits. Shall we go back? And boom, there it is. So you guys see how I did that? So I was looking for a 15-minute gap, not a 1 minute, because a 1 minute's not really going to tell me we're going to go to a daily sell side. I mean, the 15-minute or hourly might. So you can see I marked this one out. Why did I mark this one out? Why that one in specific? Yeah, it's obvious. It's the only one there. It's the lowest one. There's no other beneath it. I know we have sell side to the right here because again, I know this daily inversed, so I know this is going to be obvious sell side. And again, high momentum, swept these equal highs. I mean, that's just there's nothing that gets more textbook than that. So you got a lot of momentum down. As soon as this candle closes, I'm fully bearish. I think like that's when I think we're gonna hit the sell side. And again, really, really obvious setup. Swept equal highs, sell side beneath, and again. So does everyone understand how I kind of got that bias on the daily? So I start with the daily. I know this is sell side, but I don't know. I don't know when sell side is gonna hit. Keep in mind. And then I kind of go down to like the 15-minute, and I just look for a 15-minute bullish reveal. I got to be violated. It's really obvious, and then I target this. Do you guys understand that? And again, I would not enter the 15-minute close. I don't enter out the 15-minute, but I'd go to the 1-minute and I'd enter there. So again, again, it's the only fair value gap. And what do you notice about this setup also? That's the other thing about the setup. What's yeah, we're violating. It's a V-shaped recovery, yes, but we're also violating two things. We're violating this IVG, and we're violating this. So I mean, it's a generally good setup. And someone asked me how to enter off the 1-minute. Let's see if there's an entry. 3-minute. I don't see an entry yet. So the entry would have been out the 3-minute here. So the entry would have been here, this candle. They would have targeted it. And I probably would have been out at this low, but I'm higher time frame. So the 3-minute gave us an entry. It was a singular fair value gap here. We closed under at the same time the 15-minute close under. And again, you got your 10 a.m. reversal there right here. 9:57 reverse, and if 10 a.m. some setting, but 10 a.m. reversal, close below. I mean, this is the only entry I see, and it's about a 4.32 R if you hold 1.75 if you scalp it or trade it. And again, for anyone saying, "Oh, 50-point stop loss," that doesn't matter. A stop loss points does not matter. It's RR. Okay, everything's RR. So now, how am I going to figure out the bias now? This is actually an interesting spot. Here's a 4-hour. Here's a 1-hour. Oh no, this is the daily. Let me check the 4. Here's a 4-hour. All right, so I figure out the bias here just based off this displacement. Does it look like the market wants to give us a long setup here? Yeah, not really. So what does that mean I do? Oh, I mean, yes, wait, but what am I doing also as well? Yes, I always look to the left. When I see this, it's like, okay, we really dumped a sell side. Does not look like the market wants to bounce. So I literally just go to the left and I look for two things. I look for equal highs or equal lows, or I look for an unbalanced fair value gap. What do you notice to the left? Yeah, we got a very, very big unbalanced fair value gap here. So because of that, I think actually we're going to keep dumping here and probably go to this unbalanced fair value gap. And then when we hit that, I'll look for either one along, and if we don't get along and violate it, I'll be bearish till this low. It all depends on what happens here because, again, it's obvious, it's unbalanced, it's to the left, it's below a bunch of sell side liquidity. right here. And I mean, it's just a new ICT trader would see this 100%. Okay, I guarantee you they'd see this. So it's obvious. So let me just see if I'm right. Boom. So you can just see we dumped straight to it. So now, the bias on the 4 hour. So this is where it gets. I agree. This really gets complicated here. Some of you guys aren't gonna understand what I'm about to say, but um, this is where even if I am still bearish, I will look for a long here. Does that does everyone understand why? Yeah, it's like we still want, even if the bias is bearish here, I would still be looking for some sort of retracement long. So I actually would not mind looking for long here at all. Um, and then I'd base my bias whatever happened inside here, which doesn't look like it's fair value gap yet. So if I go to like the 1 minute time frame here, looks like where you just activated long, so it's too late to enter now. So I'm actually gonna try this entry. We'll see what happens. I was trying not to enter, but um, so this is gonna be like a little retracement I'm looking for. We got a 5 minute inverse. We're really low. We're coming out of a 4 hour fair value gap here. Um, I mean, we got two relative equal highs here, so I'd scale some here. So I mean, I'll try it. What do you guys think about this play? Even if the bias is bearish. Yeah, I don't mind it. Um, so again, we'll see what happens. I mean, I would be expecting a retracement here. Now, the only problem that makes this A plus, or that doesn't make this an A plus trade and more of a B trade is what? Does anyone know? Yes, time. This is at lunchtime, and the only way lunchtime is actually good price action is if AM sucked. Does it look like AM sucked here? Yeah. So this, I probably would not have entered this in live time. I wonder if I would have entered anything. I bet you I would have already been long from here if I had to guess. If I was, so people in my premium who watch me live stream, do you think I would have already been in here? Yeah, I agree. I think I would have already been in. So I probably would not have touched this entry. And that's why backtesting is difficult, because in live time I make different decisions than when I backtest. So I would probably already be in there. I'd probably be mostly scaled out, and I'd just be holding runners at this point, and that would be it. So I probably would not enter this in live time, but as a backtesting entry, it makes sense. Let's see how it works. And stopped out. Yeah, again, I probably would not have entered that live time. And that's why backtesting can be hard, because again, I know for a fact I'm not entering this. I mean, I would have already been in this. I was already kind of bullish there. And what would have looked like, what would have happened is, you can see I would have been let's see here. Would have gotten in here. I would have moved stop to break even here. Would not have stopped me out of break even. I would have targeted this intermediate term high, and then I would have targeted up here. So this would have been a scale half trade, then get stopped rest at break even to me. And also, again, I would have been off stream by this time. I would have been touching grass. I mean, people in my live stream who watch me every day know I probably would have taken this. Which again, this thing sucks. So now I'm just gonna kind of see how we react to this fair value gap. If we break it, I'm bearish. While we're inside it, I would still be looking for long here. While we're inside of it, but I mean, I'm not really looking for an entry on the stream. Like waiting for a. Would have waited for. Okay, Rem trades. I know you. I know. Hindsight's 2020. Good job, man. Really good analysis after seeing it play out. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of see how we react to this. All right. So I'm not. I am not bearish or bullish here. I'm just kind of seeing how we react to it. That's it. And while we're inside of it, I still wouldn't mind a long entry here. So I'm actually going to go on the 1 minute. And I'm just going to be like, oh, if we do get a long entry, I wouldn't mind. So there's equal highs. Doesn't really give us a long entry. Okay. So see how see how I don't have a bias there, but I know we're inside of a bigger fair value gap. So even if I did want to be bearish, I still wouldn't mind a long entry. And see how we do get some sort of long, right? Some of you guys in here who don't trade the IFGs, maybe you would have entered here. I don't know. But you can kind of see, even if I wanted to be bearish here, I wouldn't mind a long entry because we're holding this. So does it make sense how I kind of don't have a bias here and I'm kind of willing to play whatever I see? Is that confusing? People say that's really confusing, and that's how to be a professional trader. You can't marry a bias. I mean, if I see a long entry out of an important PD array like that, I can't skip that. I mean, I'm going to take it. It's hard not to. So, all right, let's see how we react to this. Okay, so because of this candle, what's the bias now? Yeah, bullish. And we have equal highs here. So I literally just be sitting for a lower time frame long, targeting these equal highs. Now, it is currently Asia session. Would I be live trading at this time? No. So let's just see what happens. Okay, let's see. Did it give us an entry? Okay, so here's the start of London. So London starts here. Oops. Okay, let's see. London would have started here. Now, would we have taken this to the short side? Why? But it's what I teach on my YouTube, right? Singular fair value gap, we break it with high momentum, right? Why? Oh, yes, sir. Yes, wrong bias. Exactly. So we would have known never to take this, and this is one of the problems I see a lot of people trading. They would have taken this, and yes, I do agree. I do teach a signature and price on my YouTube, but we were all pretty how confident were we on a scale 1 to 10 that we are gonna hit those equal highs after seeing a candle like this? Yeah, it's a pretty confident draw on liquidity. So even if I do see a short, I probably would not touch it. And you can see it doesn't really give you a prime optimal entry. Maybe it does in the 1 minute. Again, the 5 minute candle closed far above. So it would have been an entry, but I don't know how many people would have entered at a close like that. And you can see we just go right to this equal highs. All right. So in this, you kind of learn, okay, well, we knew the bias is probably bullish here. I wouldn't take this inversion entry. And this is kind of, let's see if it does give us an entry in the 1. All right, so it does right here. How many of you guys would have taken this entry here knowing the bias is bullish? It's also a 2022 model as well. So again, that would have been your entry. And unfortunately, that happens when I'm sleeping. So I'd have woken up the next morning and I'm waking up at 8 o'clock and I saw I missed a move overnight. So what does that mean my bias is? Yeah, it's nothing. I'm gonna go watch price. Now, gun to my head, we go and hit this high, but it doesn't really matter to me. I missed the move overnight. It's just nothing. All right. So let's just see what happens. Okay. Now this is 10 o'clock, and you can see 9:30 is really where I'm starting to look for a trade. Right. So you can see my bias would have been nothing here. Absolutely nothing. I just don't have a bias here. And I would have just watched price and kind of play what I see. So if we look at price now, you can see not really the greatest price action. For anyone who watches my live streams, would I have entered the short? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I seriously don't know. I like the CISD. Again, this is why backtesting sucks, because I honestly don't know if I would enter this or not. Maybe I would have tried it light, but I don't know. So again, whether I enter that short or not, I would have probably sold all here. Why would I sell all here and not hold if I did take the short? Yeah, because I don't have a bias here. I'm literally just playing what I see. I mean, Jay, I've taken a play like this before. It just depends on the news, depends on the week, depends on how well I'm doing. Like, this is a play where if I'm really green for the week, I'll try it. I mean, it depends. I don't know what that is with back testing. It's all forward testing. It's all like it all depends on how I'm doing for the week. It all depends on like the news or whatever. So I don't know. But in this situation here, you can see I probably, if I did take this, I would not have held runners. And again, why? Because I told you guys going into this day, when I wake up at 8 a.m. and I see a candle like this, I don't know the bias. I just, we hit my target overnight. It was equal highs, and that's it. So I don't really have a bias. So does that mean I'm going to hold runners? Probably not, because I don't have no conviction. Would I have any conviction in holding runners past this low? No, not at all. I mean, I just wouldn't know where to hold them to. Um, Again, I just would have probably sold that. All right. So now my bias is just going to be based off this. Let's see what happens. Okay. Big green candle here. What's our bias now? Why is it bullish? Yeah, because now we got a momentum. We got an order block. We got right. We got an order block. We got a delivery from a BPR. This would be a breakaway gap as well if we get a fair value gap here. So yeah, now I'm bullish. However, it's 259, which I doubt we even get a long entry. But what do you guys think about this play right here? Yeah, it's not a bad play. We know we just got a 4-hour OB, so I wouldn't mind taking it. And I'm not taking entries here, but we now know that the bias is likely bullish. All right, so again, that's just the nature of it. So now it's 18 o'clock. Let's see if we go hit this high. And boom, there it is. So here on this candle, I don't have a bias. Like I said, I want to see the reaction. And now on this candle, when we form this OB, I know this is going to be a breakaway gap. And I'm not going to teach why. This is just, it's too advanced for you guys. But again, you can see off this OB breakaway gap, I now know buy side. Right. And again, this is a liquidity play I teach. It's a intermediate term high inside of a fair value gap. Would you guys say this is an obvious high? What's another reason why this is a good liquidity pool? Yeah, it's inside the fair value gap. And also, there's one more thing. Yeah, we got decent amount of LRLR. So if you just draw kind of a brush tool right here, brush, and this is okay. But LRLR as well. So I go from here's my thought process in this kind of case, and this is really where the advanced kind of concepts come out of me. I wish I could go back and replay this. So let's say we're at 6 a.m. right here, and New York opens in 2 hours. What would your bias be after this candle closes? So it would be. So my answer is this: it would be neutral / bullish. Yes, exactly. Zion got it. See, Zion, you know, you're smart. You're smart. I can tell. It would be like neutral / bullish because you can't short here. Why can't you short here? Why would I not even think about shorting here? I mean, we never really violated it. It's too low. I just wanted to look for a short here. So, but do you understand why it'd be neutral slash bullish? It's because I don't know for sure if we're going to bounce off it. But if we get a long setup off it, it would make sense, and it would be like, okay, I see. Okay, we're reacting to this for backup. I now know I'm going to long this. I know it's really confusing, and I know new traders are gonna be like, "What the hell is he talking about? You switching his spot?" Okay, that's how you have to trade. That's how I trade. It's very logical, and I'm neutral slash bullish here. I'm not bearish, but I'm also not 100% bullish. I'm 100% bullish once I see this candle here forming this breakaway gap. So does what I'm saying kind of make sense? Is that confusing to anyone here? Okay, just making sure. Making sure. So now I'm going to be bearish if this breaks because this is a breakaway gap. And right now I don't really. Okay, there we go. So again, I'd probably be looking for lower time frame shorts there. Yep, there it is. Boom. See how that works? So you got our breakaway gap there. We swept this high. Candle close, strong momentum below. I said if we close below it, I'd be bearish. And what do you know? We go to the next internal low inside the fair value gap again. See how I determine my bias there? And I know for sure once this candle closes. Do I really know up here? No, I'm neutral slash bearish up here. Because it's really hard to long in a fair value gap like this. And if we get a short, it would make sense to take. So it goes from neutral slash bearish to, okay, 100% bearish. And, oh, I still have 200 more points, so sell side. I can still, oh, yeah, 300 more points. I'm still bearish, and I can still pick up 300 points. I may have missed this dump, but at least now I know a short's going to be way higher probability here because I know the drawing liquidity now. So it starts with neutral slash bearish, now fully bearish, to, okay, now neutral slash bullish again. Let's see. And we get a long out of it. So I probably would have taken a long. I don't know if I would have or not. Again, I need time, but I would be neutral slash bullish here until it breaks. Okay, now I'd be bearish. Okay. And there you go. Hit the low again. So do you see how I'm getting my daily bias just using these 4-hour candles? Am I making this easy enough? It always starts with neutral slash bearish into, okay, now I know 100% bearish. And what I mean by neutral slash bearish is I'll take a long setup or I'll take a short setup if we get it. And that's how I kind of do you understand how my brain works and why I'm very careful and how I think very logically in this market? Okay, I'm just making sure. So that's gonna be the end of this class. Now I'd be full bearish. Look at this. Remember this? Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if we just keep dumping here. All right, we don't. But okay, now we should. I bet you what you do at some point. But you can see like okay, there it is. Boom. So you can see once we violate this, the market just completely dumps. So we should go to the sell side, I'm guessing. And let's see. Boom, right there. So you can see this was really the last line. It was the most obvious one. We violate it, and we kind of violate it again, but that doesn't really mean anything. The fact that we violate the first time means, yeah, we're probably going lower. So you can see it does this little whatever this is. And the thing about this is we dumped during New York. This is another thing people don't understand. I'm not awake for these two candles. I'm sleeping. I don't care about these two candles. I would be bearish for New York for sure. And you can see New York dumps. Oh, what do you know? London candle, New York. New York dumps, London pumps, London pumps. So I don't even care about these two green candles because it's London. I only care about New York because that's the only time I trade. And you can see I would have had a bearish bias for both New York sessions there because we violate this. And London session just totally fakes people out because they're like, oh, we're reversing an IFG. Okay, I wouldn't even be touching these candles because I would be sleeping. And that's one of the benefits of trading New York and why I think New York's the best because if the bias is bearish, New York typically goes that direction. So you can see New York. London pumps, which is against the bias. And then what do we go? Where do we go? We go to that low, and we hit that sell side. Um. So again, yeah, exactly, Ram. If I don't have a bias at all, I wait for a violated fair value gap, and then that's my bias. Or what's the other thing I do if I don't have a bias? What do you mean play what I see though? Yeah, I'll just literally wait for a lower time frame setup, whether it's bullish or bearish, out of another fair value gap. And if whatever position, and it's not my choice whether that's going to be long or short. I'll literally just wait for, okay, if we're bouncing from bullish fair value gap and violated bearish PD array, I will long. Or I'll literally just do like these mini scalps to like equal highs and equal lows if we get them. That's the other thing I'll do. So, like obvious intraday liquidity. Yep, exactly. And we'll form a lot of obvious intraday liquidity if you sit on the 1 minute time frame. So yeah, that is the class for today. Again, I mean, it's a quite a it's a complicated process. It's not easy to find the daily bias, and the one thing that makes it not easy is you have to see what the market's giving you. I've last Thursday, I think, for anyone in my live stream, I went in and I'm like, I want to be bearish, but I saw that we bounced off of an hourly fair value gap. So if I go to this 4-hour chart real quick, go here. So I wanted to be bearish, and what happened was I literally said, if I get, even though I want to be bearish, if I saw a long setup out of this, I'd slap it, and we got one, and I did. And you can't be bearish if you see something like that. Maybe if we violate it, yes, but even though I wanted to be bearish, price was not telling me, okay, this is bearish because this held and we did get a long setup out of it. So there's some days where I'll go in with a bearish bias, but if I see something like this hold, I can't short because logically, like the market's not telling me to short if something like this doesn't break. So I mean, yeah. Again, if you do not understand this class, you're probably never going to be profitable. And I know it's a hard truth, but I mean, it's you have to switch your bias. You can't be married to a bias. I mean, this is the only way you're profitable. You have to be open and adjust to what the market's giving you. And again, if you can't do that, you're not going to be successful. And this is the number one thing that I learned, and one of the things that really helped me become profitable. Just if I see the market do something I didn't want, I maybe think about switching my bias. So that is it for now. I'll see you guys later. This will be uploaded on YouTube, and enjoy the Super Bowl. Who do you guys think's gonna win, 49ers or Chiefs? Also, SPX Ghost. I have a video on my YouTube on how I'm gonna trade all-time highs. So, and it should be titled that. So I think the Chiefs are gonna win, but I want the 49ers to win. I hope Brock Purdy doesn't choke. We'll see. Yeah, this is gonna go on YouTube. All right, I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will see you guys later. Peace.